From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Ryan Yamamoto in for Ann. We start with developing news in Antioch. Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting. This happened on Osprey Drive. Police say an adult male is dead. Our chopper flew over the neighborhood earlier, and you can see multiple police cars and evidence markers there. The public is being asked to stay away from the area. This is a developing story. We're working to bring you more information. San Jose police just announced the arrest of a 14-year-old boy for some very serious charges, including attempted murder. They received surveillance video from a shooting back in May at an apartment parking lot on Tosca Way. No one was hurt, but these were some scary moments all caught on camera. Look at this. You can see the teen run, stop in place, and fire shots at the man who police say was in a vehicle. They say the vehicle was hit, and the shots just missed the man's head. Again, he was not hurt. Well, they say the teen took off. They arrested him a few weeks later. They say the attack was gang-motivated. New at noon, a milestone for the Vallejo City Unified School District. After 20 years, they left state receivership and have regained local control.
And now that this district no longer has to pay $3.3 million a year to some creditor, that money can go towards supporting instruction and supporting the programs that have been recognized here for family engagement and for the improvements that students have made in mathematics.
The district was placed under receivership after taking out a $60 million emergency loan back in 2004. Last year, they were able to pay off that loan. Okay, first alert weather right now. Sunny skies as we finish out the month of June. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch. Hey, Jess.
Already, that's so crazy. And as we head into the next couple days in July, we're actually going to start cooling down. July 4th is going to be actually beautiful. Cloudy and cool, of course, but here's what we're gearing up for this afternoon. As we head into this afternoon's forecast, you're going to notice a very big difference when it comes to our coastal communities compared to some of our inland spots. And this is the normal drill, of course, during the summer months where we see 90s off in areas like Livermore and Antioch. You hold on tight to 50s and 60s along the coast. Anywhere from the North Bay and wine country all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, it's a mixed bag of 70s and 80s this afternoon. But you saw that live look. It was blue skies widespread throughout the East Bay. That'll continue to be the trend throughout this afternoon because what's happened now is that coastal fog really pulled its way back along the shoreline. We're continuing to see sunnier skies throughout all of our inland areas today, but that fog will fill the bay once again tomorrow morning. And we even see some light drizzle in the forecast along our coast as we wake up tomorrow. So you might need those windshield wipers if you commute from Pacifica, Half Moon Bay, maybe all the way up into Stinson Beach or Point Reyes for that matter too. Now at the same time, we're also going to deal with some gustier afternoons. So as those clouds start to pull back along the coast, we start to see a stronger onshore flow. Today, wind speeds anywhere up to around 22 miles per hour expected in San Francisco, a little bit stronger up into Fairfield, not by much. The winds are significantly lighter compared to where we were at last week around this time. More on that coming up in a bit. For now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jess. Well, other headlines we're following today in Oakland. Employees at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital back at work today after the union says a federal judge denied their request to stop UCSF from canceling union contracts. Effective July 6, Oakland hospital employees would turn into direct UCSF employees. They say this would change their benefits and lead to less take-home pay. A hearing is scheduled for July 17th. 2 homeless shelters in Oakland are scheduled to shut down today. They held dozens of people who were at the now closed Wood Street encampment. That site includes an RV park and community cabins. Not clear where the people will go next. San Francisco city leaders are moving forward with a new budget. Lurie had proposed $185 million in cuts, but a new plan includes $41 million in so-called add-backs. The money will save 15 programs that have been on the chopping block, including workforce development and civil legal services. It will also save at least 57 jobs. The board plans to vote on the budget on July 15th. Well, today is the deadline for California to officially pass its $321 billion budget. Governor Newsom has already signed a budget deal last week, but with one big caveat. He wants lawmakers to pass a bill with sweeping changes to the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, to make it easier to build housing, or his signature does become void. Veronica Macias spoke to the Alameda County Food Bank, who nearly lost its ability to help feed needy families while fighting off a lengthy lawsuit related to that act.
Make sure we don't cut any food. That's the worst. No waste.
Just like the Alameda County Food Bank wants to use up all the food they get their hands on, California lawmakers are working to use every inch of available space to build and catch up with the state's housing crisis. Construction workers are busy building the food bank's newest location. It's right across the street from their current home on land owned by the city. Executive Director Teal Harden says the nonprofit had been planning their new food bank for the past 10 years. With permits approved and construction set to begin, the project came to a halt.
I had never heard of CEQA prior to this suit that was filed against us.
CEQA is the California Environmental Quality Act. It aims to protect all land from potentially harmful environmental impacts. Two people with business interest in the area filed a lawsuit claiming the county should not have exempted the food bank from carrying out an environmental review to build on an empty parking lot.
Is again disappointing that it puts organizations that are trying to do their best and provide good for the community in a position where they're having to consider if they can meet that need and accomplish the work they're trying to do.
Well, it's a huge issue in the state.
Oakland Representative Buffy Wicks thinks it's more than just disappointing. She believes CEQA requirements for all approved construction has set California back.
Simply put, we have made it too damn hard to build housing in California. This is a 55-year-old law that has done a lot of good for the state in protecting our green spaces and clean air and things of this nature that were really important when it was passed in 1970. But unfortunately, it also gets weaponized to stop housing.
That's why she introduced a bill to help projects like the food banks. It would allow some construction projects to bypass lengthy and costly environmental reviews. Exemptions would be given to infill housing, projects constructed next to existing developments.
Our state is becoming exclusionary. It's becoming too difficult to live here. It's becoming too expensive to live here. And I think we all suffer when our working class families move out.
California's housing shortage is estimated at 2.5 million homes. Some city leaders in the Bay Area agree CEQA has driven up the cost of housing and caused more people to live out in the streets.
Even for infill projects where we're building housing where we want it in an area zoned for residential, say on a surface parking lot in a downtown, we can still have an environmental review process that takes a couple of years, detailed analyses and reports that frankly don't actually lead to much difference in the outcome.
For the Alameda County Food Bank, a judge ruled in their favor.
It was devastating to think that there was the potential that this project wouldn't come to fruition. We're very thankful for the space that we have here, but this building was not designed for a food bank to be operating out of it. So when you form the relationships that we do with the people who shop with us, those are our neighbors, those are our friends, and you see people coming in and we're not able to deliver on the dignified experience that we're aiming for, that's really hard.
It slowed us down for a minute, but fortunately the community at large came out and spoke up and said, we want this food bank and we want it someplace where people can get to it, like on a bus route, and in an area where there is already a community that has low income and has access to something. They can't go across the island to another grocery store. It's difficult for them. Most of our clients get here by bus.
The new space will provide an indoor waiting area for people, and by passing the CEQA exemption bill for infill housing projects, the hope is for more Californians to have a place to call home.
And if lawmakers miss today's deadline, the state would start the fiscal year with no budget, leaving the state controller unable to make certain types of payments. And if the budget deal is officially passed, it would scale back healthcare access for low-income, undocumented adults. The state would also pull some money out of its reserves and rainy day fund to balance a $12 billion deficit. But it does keep funding for transit and universities. It also gives money to counties to implement Prop 36. That's the proposition that increases penalties for repeat offenders and certain drug crimes. Judges could also order people to get drug treatment. Okay, we have some breaking news right now. This is out of San Mateo County. A civil grand jury has issued an accusation against Sheriff Christina Corpus, alleging, quote, willful or corrupt misconduct in office. Those allegations include 1 count of a conflict of interest and 3 counts of retaliation. The grand jury interviewed 32 witnesses, including corpus, for their investigation. She is scheduled to appear in court for a hearing. This will happen on July 15th. To Capitol Hill right now, where the Senate is moving forward with President Trump's massive budget bill. Republicans can pass the bill with a simple majority. Senate Republicans can only afford to lose 3 votes, but 2 GOP senators have already said they will vote no. The bill includes steep cuts to Medicaid funding and more money for border security defense.
This bill makes the 2017 tax cuts permanent. It avoids a tax increase for your family that's coming in December if we don't act now.
This bill, as we have said for months, steals people's health care, jacks up their electricity bill, takes away their jobs, all to pay for tax breaks for billionaires.
If the bill passes in the Senate, it has to go back to the House. This morning, the conservative House Freedom Caucus released a statement saying the Senate's bill would add to the deficit, and it's not what we agreed to. President Trump has said he wants to sign the bill by July 4th. Still ahead at noon and streaming on CBS News, Bay Area investigators say it was an ambush, the latest on an attack on firefighters in Idaho. Another story getting a lot of attention. A child falls overboard from a cruise ship, and dad jumps in to save her. The details next. Well, in Idaho, a suspect has been identified in an ambush that killed 2 firefighters and left another in critical condition. Officials say 20-year-old Wes Raleigh deliberately started the fire to ambush first responders at a hiking trail in the city of Coeur d'Alene. More than 300 law enforcement officials rushed to the scene and exchanged gunfire with the suspect. A tactical team found the suspect dead with a rifle nearby. They say they were able to recover the body as those flames approached. Officials have not made an announcement on a possible motive. Jury deliberations start today in the Sean Diddy Combs federal criminal trial. Both sides gave their closing arguments last week. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that include conspiracy and sex trafficking. He could face up to life in prison if found guilty on all charges. And a dad turned into a superhero after his child fell overboard on a Disney cruise over the weekend. Video from passengers shows a small rescue boat pulling the man and his young daughter out of the water. This all happened on Sunday as the Disney Dream was returning from a 4-night voyage between the Bahamas and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The two had to tread water for more than 10 minutes. Passengers cheered as the rescue boat returned to the cruise ship.
What a dad.
Oh my God, that's a dad that needs to have a hero. He's a hero.
The ship was moving quickly, so quickly. It's crazy how quickly the people became little tiny dots in the sea, and then you lost sight of them.
In a statement, Disney said, "We commend our crew members for their exceptional skills and prompt actions, which ensured the safe return of both guests to the ship within minutes." Back here in the Bay Area, Oakland leaders just spoke about their plans to keep the city safe from fires over the 4th of July holiday and the rest of the hot summer months. They say one of their biggest focus is on vegetation management. The mayor of Oakland highlighted one of the city's methods to get it done.
And yes, we've got goats on the job too. They are cleaning hillsides the natural way. It's smart, it's sustainable, and yes, that's very Oakland.
And the city has set a goal of clearing out 1,300 acres of dry brush on city property in areas vulnerable to wildfires. Well, some Bay Area cities are selling safe and sane fireworks ahead of the 4th of July. This is video from a stand in San Bruno. Other cities include Pacifica, Dublin, Newark, and Union City. Be aware, there are limits on where you can use them in those cities. Okay, back to our first look at weather right now. Let's give you a live look outside. This is over some of the valley areas, and you can see it's a little bit warmer, a lot more clear. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch. And Jess, I just want to find out, 4th of July, will we be able to see those professional fireworks, or is it too early to say?
You know, it's so funny you say that because each day this week, we're really talking about that morning fog holding on tight to us, pulling back along the coast into the afternoon. But as we take a look at this weekend's forecast, that could look a little bit different. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, and I'll keep you updated as we get closer to the 4th of July. However, today, it's clear as can be off in those inland spots. I mean, it's beautiful. But what is San Francisco known for during the 4th of July? Well, it's no sky July already. So we're already, talking about the chance of fog in the sky. But then on top of that, We're also known for the fog fireworks too. So no matter what the fireworks are going to go off, whether or not you see them, that's a whole different story. We're going to keep a very close eye on that for the forecast this week. Let's talk about our daytime highs today, though. You head up into areas like the North Bay or all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley. We talked about it earlier. It's a mixed bag of 70s and 80s for us today. Sunny skies, low relative humidity. The humidity is a lot higher along our coast where we're holding on tight to cooler temperatures, foggier conditions, and of course, just a little bit of drizzle in those early morning hours too, like what we saw this morning. Now into the overnight hours tonight, the fog starts to really fill the bay once again. This is what we're waking up to tomorrow morning. Drizzly conditions are expected along our shoreline. That tapers off and pulls back along the shore once again into the afternoon tomorrow. So that's our Tuesday forecast, looking very similar to today. And by tomorrow, I mean, we're going to see these winds kick up this evening up to around 22 mile per hour wind gusts, but that starts to die down in the early morning hours tomorrow, just in time for Tuesday. Today, tomorrow, they look pretty similar when you're looking at the Bay forecast, especially when it comes to our daytime highs. We're going to see upper 60s for the most part in the Bay, turn into mid 60s as we wrap up this week, heading into this weekend's forecast. Where that looks a lot different, that's our inland spots. I mean, our inland areas, for example, like Antioch and all the way over into places like Concord, they're sitting in the 90s today, and we're going to see upper 80s tomorrow, turn into low 80s by Thursday. Suddenly, Friday, forecasted 70s are in store for us, widespread just in time for 4th of July. I'll have more on that coming up, but for now, over to you.
All right, thanks, Jess. Well, coming up, our Golden State Valkyries getting the job done once again. How they say the crowd of Valhalla is helping them each and every home game. Well, the Golden State Valkyries are flying high. They blew out the Seattle Storm last night, 84-57. Tiffany Hayes scored a season-high 21 points, and the team led for the entire game. The Valkyries went 4-1 on this recent home stand. Hayes says playing in front of the Valhalla crowd feels like one of the best advantages in the entire league.
They're like our sixth man off the bench. They give us so much energy. When we're down, when we're up, they're picking us up. So shout out to them for coming every single night. This is 10 in a row. We love that for us. So keep coming back every night. We love it.
It's just so fun too. Like we feel it. Yeah, we really do. And so we're grateful.
The Valkyries get a few days of rest before they begin a 4-game road trip on Saturday against the Minnesota Lynx. We'll have that game on KPIX with coverage starting at 4:30 p.m. and we'll be right back. Well, as Pride Month comes to a close, we're celebrating families and community. Tonight, a Bay Area mom and son are sharing their journey of creating a family outside traditional expectations. Sam says growing up with 2 moms gives him a unique perspective on feminism and has made him an ally, while Robin says she's concerned about new policies targeting the LGBTQ+ community.
All these rights are being threatened right now, and it's very important for us to stand up for those things and talk about why our families are particularly gifted and just take a stand.
Being raised by queer moms was kind of my superpower.
Well, you can watch that full story coming up at 5 on KPIX. That's it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Hope you have a great afternoon.